Mark Twain on New England Weather, published in Swinton's Fifth Reader and Speaker, copyright 1883. I don't know who makes New England weather, but I think it must be raw apprentices in the weather clerk's factory who experiment and learn how in New England for board and clothes, and then are promoted to make weather for countries that require good article, and will take their custom elsewhere if they don't get it. There is a sumptuous variety about New England weather that compels the stranger's admiration and regret. The weather is always doing something, always attending strictly to business, always get up new designs and trying them on people to see how they will go. But it gets through more business in the spring than any other season. In the spring, I've encountered 136 different kinds of weather inside of 24 hours. It was I that made the fame and fortune of the man who had that marvelous collection of weather on exhibition at the Centennial that so astounded the foreigners. He was going to travel all over the world and get specimens from all climes. I said, "Don't you do it. You come to New England on a favorable spring day." I told him what we could do in the way of style, variety, and quantity. Well, he came, and he made a collection in 4 days. As to variety, why, he confessed he got hundreds of kinds of weather that he had never heard of before. And as to quantity, well, after he had picked out and discarded all that was blemished in any way, he not only had weather enough, but weather to spare, weather to hire out, weather to sell, weather to deposit, weather to invest, weather to give to the poor. Old Probabilities has had a mighty reputation for accurate prophecy and thoroughly well deserves it. You take up the papers and observe how crisply and confidently he checks off what today's weather is going to be on the Pacific coast, down south, in the middle states, in the Wisconsin region. You see him sail along in the joy and pride of his power till he gets to New England. He can't any more tell what he can tell about how many presidents of the United States there are going to be. Well, he mulls it over, and by he gets out something like this. Probable northeast to southeast winds carrying to the southward and westward and eastward and points between. High and low barometer sweeping around from place to place. Probable areas of snow, rain, hail, and drought, preceded by earthquakes, with thunder and lightning. Then he jots down this postscript from his wandering mind to cover accidents. But it is possible the program may be wholly changed in the meantime. Yes, one of the brightest gems of the New England weather is the dazzling uncertainty of it. There's only one thing certain about it. You are certain there's going to be plenty of weather. A perfect grand review, but you never can tell which end of the procession is going to be moved first. You fix up for the drought. You leave your umbrella in the house and sally out with your sprinkling pot, and 10 to 1 you get drowned. You make up your mind that the earthquake is due. You stand up from under and you take hold of something to steady yourself, and the first thing you know, you get struck by lightning. These are great disappointments, but they can't be helped. Now, as to the size of the weather in New England, lengthwise, I mean, is utterly disproportionate to the size of that little country. Half the time, when it's packed as full as it can hold, you feel the New England weather sticking out around the edges and projecting around hundreds of miles over the neighboring states. She can't hold a tenth part of her weather. I could speak volumes about the inhuman perversity of the New England weather, but I will give you only a single specimen. I like to hear rain on a tin roof, so I covered part of my roof with tin, with an eye to that luxury. Well, sir, do you think it ever rains on that tin? No, sir. Skips it every time. I've been trying merely to do honor to the New England weather. No language could do it justice. But after all, there are at least one or two things about the weather which we residents would not like to part with. If we had not had our bewitching autumn foliage, we should still have to credit the weather with one feature which compensates for all its bullying vagaries, the ice storm. When a leafless tree is clothed with ice from the bottom to the top, ice that is bright and clear as crystal, every bough and twig is strung with ice beads, frozen dewdrops, and the whole tree sparkles cold and white like the Shah of Persia's diamond plume. Then the wind waves the branches, and the sun comes out, and turns all of those myriads of beads and drops to prisms that glow and flash with all manner of colored fires, which change and change again with inconceivable rapidity, from blue to red, red to green, from green to gold. The tree becomes a sparkling fountain, a very explosion of dazzling jewels. And it stands there, the acme, the climax, the supremest possibility in art or nature of bewitching, intoxicating, intolerable magnificence.